wotwa bi Welcome to another exciting edition of the Next Level TV program. And this is your regular host, Oscar Bimpong, in the driving seat, taking you to your destination of success. Some of you might be watching me for the first time, and this program is about inspiration, career and talent development, entrepreneurship. It's about every topic that can help you to achieve your dreams in life. Today, we have a powerful discussion. Last week, we talked about social entrepreneurship and how you can use it as a career. We have talked about business startup and how you can use it to build a fortune for yourself. We have talked about how to finance your business. And today, we are going to talk about one particular topic that, for me personally, is one of the critical success factors for you to succeed in starting a business. And what topic are we going to talk about? In today's market, to be jack of all trades and master of none can be very suicidal. It means that you cannot serve all the market. You cannot serve everybody in the market. You need to find a niche market where you can attract and serve them to really meet their needs. And what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about how to position yourself in the market that you operate. And to discuss this topic is one person that I've known for some time who is an expert in that area. He is a high sales performance consultant, and he is the CEO of the Gallup Group of Companies. He is in the person of Peter Gallic. Please welcome to the studio of Zip TV, and you are on the next level.
Thank you, Oscar, and thank you for Zip TV for me to be here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You know, it's been a while. How have you been keeping? Tomorrow is bank holiday, and I hope you've got plans for tomorrow.
I know it's been a while, but it's always nice to see you and be on live on TV. And also, what I really want to do is I want to give some value to our listeners and people on TV, so they can get out and do something with that information. As you rightly said, Oscar, positioning is probably the most critical element of business, because if you're not positioning yourself well in the market, your sales will drop, and sales is
the fuel
key.
of the business.
It's the fuel of the business, because without sales, you wouldn't get any revenue, you wouldn't get any profits, and without that,
you bleed to death.
You bleed to death. Absolutely right, indeed. Yeah.
So, to before I go on, right?
Yeah.
Somebody would like to know who is Peter Gallic, outside high performance sales consultant and Gallup Group of Company.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm passionate about what I do. I have a family and 2 children, a lovely daughter and lovely boy. Outside my high performance culture, business, I do a bit of cycling, I do a bit of running, I go out and meet interesting people. I'm also part of an international speakers network called Toastmasters International. For those of you who want to look it up, it's toastmasters.org, which is a fantastic organization.
I think that's where we met. That was back in the days when we were polishing our speaking skills.
Indeed, absolutely. It's some time ago. And it's really, I mean, it's great to have met you then. As I said, it's a great organization, and I'm still a member, even though I've come a very long way. Yeah. And it's always, you always pick up something new and something different that you can use for yourself or even pass on to other people.
So now let's go back to business.
Okay.
An ordinary person on the street who wants to start a business, right? How would you define the positioning of a market to such a person?
I think it's very difficult if we have people out on the market. I think it's about I would need to know that person of what he or she wants to do. But as I said before, it's very critical to know and to find out your market niche. And I mean, there's some examples I can maybe share with you.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I talked about water. I mean, a bottled water, what you normally pay in a shop is between 50 pence to almost £4. Now, the water is pretty much the same. I mean, there's obviously differences in the water, but I think in general it's water is water, right?
Water is water, yeah.
Water is water, yeah. But in terms of positioning, what these companies have done, they've positioned themselves in the market so well that for one water you pay 50 pence, for the other water you pay £4. Now, why would people pay £4 for a piece of water? Because they perceive that water as more value than another water that is of £4. That is of
So does it mean that it's more about target market? So does it mean that the person who is paying, who is selling the water at £4, does it mean that they are targeting a different market, and those selling 50p are also targeting a different market?
Yes, absolutely. It's about, you're absolutely right. It's about positioning it well. And so the company who sells the water for £4 goes for higher net worth individuals, people who've got more money. They don't mind spending £4 for water. And the others who are struggling, they might just even struggle to pay 50 pence for a bottle of half a litre of water. So it's absolutely right. It's about positioning the water differently to a different market group. And you see, the beauty always is if you're positioning yourself well enough and strong enough that people will remember you, selling a bottle of water for £4, you don't need to sell that many bottles of water.
No.
And that's the beauty of it, because it's key. It's great, isn't it?
And it means that if we are able to attract a market for water that costs £4, it brands itself to a particular segment of people. And how do you attract those people?
Predominantly through, I mean, you need to have the right strategy. You need to do a lot of research, finding out what people really want, how much they're prepared to pay. For water, you do tests, you do sampling, you do what that target group really likes. So, for example, if my water costs £4, I wouldn't go and give out samples close to Aldi or Lidl or Netto or something.
Exactly. So yes, because I was thinking, for instance, Tesco, right?
Yeah.
Probably, if they have orders for water that is £4, probably they will not put it at the Tesco shop in Croydon, but they will put it at the Tesco shop in Chelsea.
Yes.
Is that going to be the case?
Potentially, yes. And big supermarkets do have that power to sell. I mean, I used to run a small food company, and what they've done is it was the German or big American pretzels. They were about that big, nice pretzels, and they were premium products. And I had a few big retailers who bought from me. They only went to certain shops. They didn't go to the mass of everywhere in the UK.
Yes.
Only certain shops where they thought people have enough money to buy them, because otherwise it wouldn't be worth. Now, going back to the water itself, I would even think about Tesco's, because Tesco's is
More
probably
of a bit of middle class.
A bit of middle class,
lower class. It's all intertwined in there.
So I probably would look more into like maybe the Peter Jones market, or Harrods or Selfridges. these kind of places. And I
where
think
people go and spend the millions.
absolutely, where people enjoy themselves, they go in and buy themselves nice clothes, nice food, and then a nice bit of water which is different. So it's got to look different, and then people just buy it.
So it's looking now to me that if you don't position yourself, then there's no way you can penetrate the market. There are people who start businesses and they want to serve the whole market or a majority of the market. Does it mean that it's not possible?
Yes, I mean you picked up a very, very good point, and I think from my experience, a lot of companies, they are kind of in the Me Too arena. They just look out in the market, they see companies that are fairly successful, and what do? They say, actually, I want to have a bit of that cake as well.
Yes.
So a bit of that cake, a bit of that market share. So what do? I just make some connections, see whether I can sell the same products or services like what Tesco does. Maybe maybe if we stick to bottle of water, if I can see that the bottle of water for £4 sells well, then there is a market share. I could grab that market share and see what I can do with it. So I'll be very likely to go into that market and see what I can do in order to get some more revenue and some profit for my own business.
What I'm saying is that, for instance, right, if, as you said, some companies, what they do is that they have their products, right? But when they see that another company is doing well, they want to have a bit of a cake of that company. So they start dealing with the products of that company. Before they realize they've got so many products that they are dealing with, right? In a nutshell, they are targeting a wider market. Is that good or bad?
I personally think, and I've spoken to a lot of top entrepreneurs. One is James Caan.
James
Caan, and I've asked him a couple of years ago live on TV. He was in a conference where I've taken part, and I sort of said, "What do you really suggest?"
That's James Caan, formerly of Dragon's Den, right?
Formerly of Dragon's Den, that's right. Yeah, I asked him. I said, "What do you suggest as a small business how to start?" And he said, go within a niche, within a niche, within a niche. So you find your niche, and I'll come back to that later on. So once you've got your niche, you got to penetrate that niche. So you got to focus on that particular point. Just think about if you're going out in the UK, it's probably not so good example, but if you go out to Australia, right, and you pick up some fish and you want to grill that fish. You haven't got any lighters. What do? You take a mirror, you put that mirror next to the sun, and you hope that the sun will reflect, which will then give you fire. And that's exactly about positioning, because if you are not focusing on one small point, you will never get fire, because it'll never burn. So what you need to do is you need to focus on one thing and keep at it, and then once you create a need, then people will buy, and eventually you can then go up when your market share is getting bigger and bigger, and you know that your customers want different products, but it's about customers, but about asking customers what do they really want. So being in constant contact with your customers, asking them what do they want, and also offering products that are of additional value. For example, if you sell a toothpaste you can easily sell a toothbrush as well. But it's harder to sell on top a computer.
Yes.
So that's totally different.
Totally out of
Totally out of it.
Wow. That is a very great point that you are making there. So it means that even if you want to position yourself, it should be within a certain context.
Yes, it's supposed to be. It should be with a certain context, very focused on that product or service, and then you then grow organically, because a lot of companies I've been dealing with, and what they do is they become greedy eventually. In the beginning, the organizational cycle is entrepreneurial, and then later on they become more process orientated. And then with that, later on it becomes more kind of, let's make more money. Oh yes, great, we can move out of our small garage like HP did many years ago. They had a small garage where they sold their products, and now it's a multinational organization. They can then spend more and grow the business, which is fine, but you're going to be within your niche, because if HP all of a sudden would sell water, that just would not make sense.
HP water.
HP water, yeah.
It doesn't even sound great, you know.
No.
Yeah, so that is what you mean by a niche within a niche within a niche.
Yes.
It should be within a particular segment. But when you look at something like the grocery stores today, right?
Yeah.
They started probably with fruits and vegetables, fresh foods and all that. But today they've widened the market and they are selling televisions and different products. That means it's a bit different from what you are saying.
Yes, that's also a good point, because I think what happens is with, let's just take Tesco's or Sainsbury's, the UK big companies. What they do is they know what their customers want, because people are buying. People are just literally lazy. I mean, if you're going to a big Tesco's, what do you want? You want to get your shopping done, but at the same time, if you can pick up your television as well, if you can get a loan for your mortgage, if you can get some clothes, it's all in one shop. That's fantastic. And they have done their market research. Now, Tesco's and Sainsbury's is totally different from a small company or from people like you and me. Because we both would go wide, it's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
To do this.
So positioning is about startups. When you are starting a business, it's better you position yourself to serve a particular segment of the market.
Yes, absolutely. If you're starting up, it's key to focus in a particular niche of market. And if you grow, then I'm saying in brackets, you can take more of a risk and see whether you can diversify. I mean, let's just take an example of Virgin. Many years ago, Virgin obviously started with records. Then Virgin started with transport, planes, trains, and so on. Then they diversified into cosmetics. Then they had bridal, and so on. It just grew and grew and grew, and it's a massive group of companies. What they've done eventually, they now went down to back to the basics. They went back to their trains, back to the planes, and they've done some.
But they started with the records, right?
They started with the records.
So they branded themselves as the best in terms of selling records. Then as the business continued to grow, then they diversified into other areas. So you are suggesting that you need to start with a particular product that will meet the demand of a particular target market.
Yes, absolutely. You're gonna start with a particular target market, and then you can grow. Although looking at it, I mean, Richard Branson, he started with the records, and then he moved into aeroplanes. Why did he move into aeroplanes? Because it's for him, it was a great way of getting his brand known internationally. And he again started with having one plane. He basically hired one plane to go from London to New York, which is London, New York is the most frequent, and most busiest line. And so it's pretty much like a no-brainer. And then and he offered something totally different, because he offered a top service, right, for a medium price, and things you wouldn't believe other companies, British Airways and all the others, American Airlines, they just did not offer. They did not offer you a haircut. They did not offer you a nail treatment. They did not offer you a spa, and all these things. And it's totally unique. And what do people do? I mean, if you have £400 to spend, which airline would you want to fly? Would you want to go with Virgin, where you get all these treatments, or whether you want to fly with American Airlines or British Airways, whereby you
just get your breakfast and your lunch.
So that's about great positioning and being in there. I just want to also make one point, because some years ago I watched Lord Sugar's program. And what happened is he started with his IT computer business, and that sort of grew and grew and grew from pretty much from nothing, and it grew. But what happened is, later on he decided to spend some time and money and effort into a football club. I can't remember exactly what he bought, but he bought a football club.
Was it Tottenham? Yeah.
It could well be the case.
Yeah, he was. I think he was a board chairman or whatever for Tottenham.
Yeah. So he bought that football club, but after many years he sold it, and he obviously made a profit. He sold a stake. He made a profit, but you know what he said at the end? He said that was one of my biggest regrets. So why is that? Because he diversified so far away from his core business that he wasn't able to focus on his business, and that his business now, if he had focused in on it, obviously you're much cleverer in hindsight. You always know what's, you know, in hindsight that's clear. But if you focus on something, then and he said, if he had focused on his core business, he would have had a better success rate than if he had not done that. Obviously, you never know, but
So it means that, for instance, if I want to go into selling of cars, you are advising me that it's better I stay within the motor vehicle industry. So probably I will add motorcycles within my niche, rather than going out there, I'm selling cars, then I'll open a shop that I'm doing groceries.
Yes.
That is not advisable.
No, because I suppose no, I wouldn't. I would absolutely agree with you. I think if you're focusing in your niche about motor vehicles, and for our listeners,
probably you can go for spare parts, selling of spare parts.
So you can go for spare parts, but maybe just focusing on VW, or maybe just focusing on Volvo, or just focusing on one car.
So it's not about even selling every car. You can just focus on selling probably BMW. For example.
Absolutely, for example. But then again, what I'm also saying is about looking at the market first, because if you are only focusing on BMW parts and everyone else does the same, then you wouldn't make any money.
So it means that it has to be born out of market research.
Yes, very much. So you got to look at positioning yourself, looking at your strengths, your own personal strengths. So if you want to start up your own business, you look at your personal
doing a SWOT analysis of yourself.
Doing a SWOT analysis of yourself, absolutely. And then you look at the market, look at the external market, your competition, and what the market might bring in the future. And I think that's where a lot of organizations also fall very short, because they're not looking at the external drivers, how the market is changing in the future. So if the market for automobiles, for example, will change to become more sporty, BMW or all these cars might, I wouldn't say not existing, but this is a wrong thing, but if they are, if a new type of car will come along. I mean, for example, we have hybrid cars.
Hybrid cars, yeah.
And that means
that is another positioning.
Yes, indeed. It's a total different positioning. But if you know where the market market is going to go, and you are one of the first to see that hole where you can, that kind of market share that you can grab, then you're one of the first person who is in that market. That means you will be the market leader. That means you'll be able to make a lot more money than anyone else will.
You know, I started wanted to sell something on eBay, right? And when I looked at the product, there were so many of the products online at eBay.
Yeah.
Now, how could I have positioned myself?
I think if you want to sell something on eBay,
for example, yeah.
For example, I mean, it's a good point because it's challenged my line of thinking, which I really like. So, if you're selling something on eBay, it doesn't really matter. Well, within reason, because you have a wide market.
Yes. Your client base, there's a higher percentage of them because people can access you across the world.
Yes.
Rather than just selling a car in London.
Yeah. I mean, people will assess you and they don't really know you, or probably they don't even care you. All they want is they want the product for a reasonable good price. Now, this is a totally different positioning to if you have a shop or if you're going out and finding clients. And if you are in accounting, for example, or if you are in selling computers, that's totally different, because on eBay you pretty much be able to do anything, and most people do. I mean, I know people, friends of mine, they have a very highly successful car business, but they also sell motor accessories, but also they sell children's clothes, because and other things they really want to sell. But it's critically, I think, looking at it, making yourself known as the person to go to, that's ought to be the key for you to position yourself in a very, very, very good.
So can we say Zip Multimedia have positioned themselves very well because we are into television, radio, and photography?
Yes.
So are we on the right path in terms of positioning?
Yes, because if you are focusing within the TV, radio, and photography side, which is all together
in terms of multimedia.
In terms of multimedia, that's right. So if you would now position yourself as an educational body, or as selling water, or selling discs or CDs, then that's not really your kind of market. And people get confused. People get confused, and that's another good point which I wanted to make, is once you know your market, you must communicate that in as few words as possible. Be clear and concise, because people have not got the mental capacity to understand what you really do. It's got to be in pretty much like 4 or 5 or 6 words maximum.
I'm having a really great discussion today, and I think you are raising a very good points over there that our viewers, I think, are putting down, something on paper to really No, because it's one of the critical success factors in starting a business. We are going to go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to continue our discussion. So please don't change the dial. Welcome, welcome back to the Next Level TV program, and we are having an exciting discussion about how to position yourself in the market that you operate. It has been an exciting discussion. You know, I've met so many people in my life who says I would like to be my own boss. But trust me, you can only be your own boss when you know how to position yourself in the market that you operate. You know, when I was researching into this topic, I realized something that footballers, the strikers, right? they are not just everywhere. What they always do is to position themselves to score goal. Because if they are supposed to score goals and they are at defense, then how can they score goal? So it is very critical that you need to position yourself to really attract a certain target market. And that is what we are discussing today. It's very, very critical to your success in business. And if you are not able to achieve that, then that can be very suicidal. And who is with me today to discuss this pertinent topic? He is no other person like my friend, my brother. I have known him for some years now, and he has been always being an inspiration to me. He is in the person of Peter Gellick. Please welcome back to Zip TV, and you are on the next level.
Thank you, Oscar. And I'm looking forward to our next level here.
Yeah.
And giving some more information, some more tactics and practical tools really for our viewers to take on board and put it into practice, because at the end practice is what makes perfect.
Exactly. You make mistakes, but when you continue to practice, you perfect your skills.
Yes.
And you know, continuity is the key to becoming perfect in what you do.
And you made just an important point here. It's about you making mistakes, and I think it's great, it's fantastic to make mistakes, and you should celebrate. Everyone ought to celebrate making mistakes.
But that's what we find it difficult to do.
I know. I mean, I can say that, but I find it myself. It's very difficult because you put if you're self-employed, you're making mistakes and you're spending hundreds, thousands of pounds onto something. At the end, it's not a success. But it's about a learning curve. It's about looking at things from a different angle and then getting back up. And I recently had a meeting with someone I got introduced to, and he said, I asked him, so what do you do? And he said, I run my own business. So what's your own business? It's about food, but food is linked to football. So why food linked to football? So I used to be a professional footballer.
Okay.
So okay, that's an interesting thing. So you used to be a professional footballer. He said yes, but I also used to be bankrupt 3 times.
Wow.
And I said to him, you've been bankrupt 3 times. I want to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, why is that? Because if you've been bankrupt 3 times, you made mistakes, and you're still here. We are talking. I want to know what mistakes you made, and based on that,
you can
how we can work together, because you're still there. And I suppose that's another thing. I mean, I'm native German. I've been in the UK for many, many years. And I once asked, actually more than half my life, and I was once asked by someone, so what's the different cultures, obviously, between Germany and Americans? And I said, well, the Germans are pretty much sitting down, they're putting their head down and their work, and the Americans, they just get on with things.
Yes.
And what the Germans really need, they need a bit of Americanism inside them, because what they need is they need to get that kind of kick. Enthusiasm, yeah, and just dare to
let's go and fight for it.
Yeah, go and fight for it. Go outside and make mistakes, and that's good because we can learn from them.
Exactly.
And that goes for everyone. It goes for people, especially if you nowadays in that particular difficult market. That market could be difficult, but it could be an excellent chance for you guys to go out and find your niche. Positioning yourself well, go for it, do your market research, and if you find that you are going into a cul-de-sac, realize it, get out of it, and try another road.
I remember one time I was speaking to you, and I wanted an advice in terms of starting my motivational speaking business. And you told me, so which people are your target market? And I said, I want to start with the churches, because I want to inspire people to really go out there and achieve their dreams, right?
Yes.
So it was like you said, okay, so within the church, which people are your target? Is it going to be Muslims? Is it going to be? And you just brought me down to where I really need to be. And I was like, wow, this is what we call positioning. Now, does positioning mean unique selling proposition? How will you explain it in relation to positioning to an ordinary person?
Yeah, I think once you have your niche,
When you say a niche, you're talking about your target
or
market.
once you've got your target market pretty much nailed down, you then need to communicate your unique selling points, unique selling proposition. What makes you different from someone else? Now, going back maybe to the water example, what difference is it that for me as a consumer, or for me as Waitrose, as a shop or whatever, why should I buy your water compared to a cheaper water? What's unique about it?
What attracts somebody, right?
Indeed.
Why should I buy from you and not the other?
Yeah, indeed. And there's quite an interesting story that came to mind. I mean, I went to some weeks ago to multi-level marketing meeting. Network marketing. I was invited, and I looked at the products. It was about a certain product, and the first question I asked, what's unique about it? Because there are so many different similar products out there. I mean, the product was about slimming, and apparently you can make a lot of money from that, and it's a great opportunity. And the first question I asked is, so what's unique about that product? And you know what the salesperson said to me? It's fun. It's fun. Now, that get me going, because fun is a soft factor. It's not a hard factor. If I go into Tesco's and sell that bottle of water and say that water is fun, I would guarantee that the buyer would say to me, that water is fun, and here's the door. Because what you need to do is, you need to have soft factors and hard factors. Now, soft factors could be sticking to the water example, it's fun, it's exciting, it makes you healthy, and so on. Hard factors is about how much money would I make, because stores are interested in that. If you're selling a product, if you're selling a service, it's all about return on investment, ROI. What money, what could I get from that? And how can I then persuade my buyers, my finance director, saying, okay, here's the water, this is the potential, cost me £2 to buy, £4 to sell, it's a good markup, I have to sell less water bottles, but I make more profit. And then we're looking into how many weeks, months, or it takes in order to get a good return on investment. And this would be kind of hard. This is a kind of difference between soft and hard factors. I just wanted to mention that because I think it's very, very important.
So for instance, when you talk about Asda, their soft factor is they are always cutting prices.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Well, they're always cutting prices. That's their positioning. Asda positioned themselves as a value for money supermarket. And to my mind, Tesco's is more around innovation, always being the leader.
Every little helps.
Every little helps. It's again looking at the customers, but also looking obviously after themselves as well, which is about the return on investment.
So something like Colgate, it has been there for years.
Yes, Colgate has positioned themselves extremely well, and I've even heard people can have a Colgate instead of a toothpaste. I mean, that's a brilliant example. So people using the name is like Hoover, vacuum cleaner. That's so well established, and one of the most successful brands in the world is Colgate. But Colgate is about protection. It's about protecting your teeth, and that's what people are buying for.
So the positioning is that when you buy Colgate, it protects your teeth.
Yes.
And that is what causes people to buy Colgate.
Indeed, absolutely.
Wow.
And that's their positioning. That's their market share, market niche, and that's a very, very powerful statement. Now, does it take how much time does it take? It doesn't take weeks. It doesn't take months. It takes years, centuries to get to that position, because there's so many other companies out there who are fighting for that market share and space. Because branding is very, very important, and it goes very well with having your unique selling proposition, but also with your differentiators, and the positioning in general is, because that's what people see, people buy with their five senses, pretty much. People buy because they see it, they hear it, they like it. In terms of hearing, how can you hear a toothpaste? That might be a question to say. But if you hear it on television, if you hear it on television, if you hear it on radio, if you constantly hear it, if you constantly see it, if you see it in shops,
it becomes part of you,
and then it becomes part of you, and then also the way they do things. I mean, going back some years ago, when my daughter was a baby, and we went to a toy shop, and we bought some toys. And do you know what I found? There was a little small plastic toothpaste with a brand name Colgate on it. Now, this is a great example, because you are getting influenced at a very, very young age, that you see that Colgate, and then you eventually you buy it, you see your parents using it, your grandparents using it, your friends are using it.
It becomes a generational thing.
It just becomes like, obviously everyone else is using it. Well, I should be using it as well.
Exactly.
And therefore it just becomes a habit. And
Exactly.
that's what, and once you're in that market, once you have created a habit, then you're in a very, very strong position, because people are reluctant to change unless there are massive side effects or something really, really bad, or bad customer service, bad products, and so on. Then that's what makes people think twice about it. But if that's not the case, and I'm sure that's not the case with Colgate, then you are actually, Colgate is a brilliant company, brilliant product.
You know, I was reading about a certain company that says we would deliver. It was a food company. They say we would deliver within 30 minutes. Is that a powerful positioning?
Very much so, because that's Domino's Pizza.
That's Domino's Pizza, right?
That's Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza said, we deliver your pizza within 30 minutes or your money back.
Or your money back.
Or your money back.
So you need to be strategic in terms of positioning. So somebody wants to have a pizza within the next 30 minutes, and he calls another pizza company and it's going to take an hour, he will come to Domino's Pizza.
Yeah, people will come. I mean, what do you want? That's very much customer centric, and that's another
customer centricity.
Customer centricity, being focused on the customer. What do you want? If you're calling for a curry, if you're calling for a pizza, you want, ideally, your curry or your pizza delivered ASAP. If they can guarantee that your pizza will be with you within 30 minutes,
or you get your money back,
who do you call?
So they are attracting the market. So it's, positioning is very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. It's a great positioning statement, and
but it works.
Of course. Now the thing is also, what companies must do is they must give the money back, because that's about trust.
It's about trust, yeah.
Yeah, because what happens is, over time, you can build up your brand, and you can guarantee your money back within in more than 30 minutes. If you don't do it, your market share is going to be lost within absolutely a very, very short
because
time.
you need to build trust with your customers.
Yes.
And if you don't deliver what you say, then negative feedback is also very critical to your success in business. If somebody gives you negative feedback and you don't address it within the shortest possible time, you don't know how many people that person can talk to about your business. Now let's go to communication. Is communication very important in positioning?
Absolutely. I mean, that's critical, because once you position yourself in a certain market niche, and once you have your unique selling points that makes you unique from someone else, you must communicate that message to your audience, to your people. And in the ideal world, you do that by having champions. Now, just take an example, or maybe if you're doing motivational training, you're going out and you have two people. One person will call, make appointments to book you as a speaker. The other person lives you. The other person just loves you, loves the message, loves the way you communicate, loves how you communicate,
your charisma, your enthusiasm,
everything else. Yes, and he or she adores you. That means you have a champion. Now, who do you think will sell better, person number one or person number two?
It should be the second one.
It's clear, because that person loves you. That message comes across a lot better, a lot clearer, and with a lot, it's delivered with a lot more passion than the first person has done it. And that's what it's all about. It's about delivering the message with absolute conviction, passion, and that you are the best for that role to do.
So communication is very important.
Yeah.
So communication probably to your staff, for them to communicate to customers, or to customers directly?
Yeah, to everyone. What you really do is, what you ought to do is to create a culture, a kind of high performance culture within the organization, that everyone believes in you, everyone loves what you do, people enjoy working with you, they enjoy the products, the services, and what you do for them as well, and how you communicate your message to them and they to you. And it's about togetherness, it's about living it. I mean, I came across some companies whereby you go into reception, big reception, you have to walk 50 meters until you go to you find a reception, and then you talk to them and you see in big letters, our vision is. And if you ask people, they don't even know. So this is about the extrinsic vision of a company, the extrinsic parts, the extrinsic culture. A culture is about knowing, communicating that message to everyone.
That's the vision of the company.
That it's about the communication of that vision of the whole organization. The vision, mission, strategic goals is about communicating that so everyone is aware of that. That means if I'm talking to your cleaning lady, I meet her on the bus, she'll be able to communicate that message as well, or even better than you could personally do. And then if you achieve that, you're there.
I want you to touch briefly on change management in terms of position, very briefly. How does change management affect positioning?
It does to a very, very great detail.
Yeah, very briefly.
And what I'm saying is, because if you have your positioning, if you are positioned well, if you know your USPs, unique selling propositions, you must be agile within your
market,
offerings within your markets.
yes.
Because what happens is the external environment, that means will change. The
Yes.
environment changes, and if
Yes.
you don't change,
like the economy, political situations,
Yes.
and all that.
yeah, if that all
Technology.
changes, technology, legal
Yes,
aspects,
yes.
and so on, it just
Socio-cultural
changes.
factors and all those things. Yeah.
Indeed. And if you don't jump on that bandwagon, and if you're not agile enough, then you're pretty much dead. And Jack Welch said that many years ago. He said, if your internal culture is slower than your external environment, your company is dead. And that's so true. So being agile, being flexible, constantly looking for new innovation, new products and services within your market niche, and that also gives you a huge competitive advantage that it's very difficult for competitors to copy. And then again, you've got your market, you've got your positioning, and then off you go.
That is sustainable competitive advantage.
Absolutely.
Your last word.
Yes.
Your last word.
To our audience.
Yes, your last word about whatever we've discussed. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to summarize, and it is about looking at your positioning, looking at your USPs, looking at your target market, and go for it. If you've got any questions, I mean, my name is Peter Gerlach. If you have a website under construction, but my contact
just Google Peter Gerlach.
just
Something will come
Google
up.
myself. Just Google myself and send me an email, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions of what it's all about.
So it's all about positioning yourself in the market that you operate. I gave an example that in a football match, the striker does not go and defend. He stays at the top of the football pitch, and what he does is that he positions himself to score a goal. Now, in your business, position yourself. Don't be a jack of all trades where you sell everything but master of none. Master yourself in something unique that you can use to attract your market. And when things are becoming, when your market is growing, then you can grow your market within the context of what you are really, supplying to the market. For instance, Zip Multimedia, we are into television, radio, and photography. We are within the same context of multimedia. We don't want to go and sell groceries, and that is what you need to know, that in starting a business, you need to stay in the context of your primary product, and from there you can expand over time. It has been a really interesting time having you, Peter Gerlach, and I'm really humbled for you to come on the Next Level TV program to really inspire our viewers with such a wonderful topic. And I hope when we call on you, you always come and you really bless the Next Level TV program.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very honored to be here with you today and to give some valuable, hopefully, information to our viewers. And
next week, we are going to talk about how to develop a powerful mindset with Ellen Powell, who is also a consultant as well. So please, next week, because your mind is the foundation of your life. Not having a strong foundation means that whatever you build upon will not work. So next Sunday, we are going to build a powerful mindset on the Next Level TV program. Those of you who are enjoying the bank holidays, have a great weekend, a bank holiday Monday, and a blessed week. Thank you very much, and meet you next week.